So this is a little interesting article. Low wage hours at new low as Obamacare fines loom. Low wage workers clocked the shortest work week on record in December. Even shorter than at the depth of the recession, by the way, new Labor Department data shows. The figures underscore concerns about the Obamacare employer insurance mandate's impact on the work hours and incomes of low-wage earners. So, what that basically means is that if you are scaring all these businesses with these fines, again, you got to have a certain number of employees. If you have that certain number of employees, you're going to have to pay this kind of a fee. And the employers said, well, screw that. We'll just fire a lot of the full-time workers, cut back on employees, so that we, because again, if you're on that cusp of being, I don't know what the number is, like over 50 employees or whatever it was, you're in a different ball game. So if you're under that number, I think it was 50, then you are able to keep more full-time people on, because you're not going to have to worry about fines and fees and all that crap with Obamacare. If you did have more than that, then you need to find a way to cut back either A, your employees, B, the number of full-time employees, or C, both. Cut the number of employees you have and cut the full-time employees down to part-time. Then you don't have to comply with Obamacare, which is going to cost your company more money in the long run anyway. Not even the long run, it's going to cost your company more money, period. And it is interesting to see that all this is happening. And I'm going to ask you, how many times have you driven to work, to the store, wherever you go on your monthly routes, all month long, and seen big protests of people protesting Obamacare and the new fines, or pretty much anything? The banks, the massive bailout still, any of that stuff going on? No. Even when it went on, you didn't see anybody really do much about it. Now, if you went down to the financial district in New York, you did see Occupy Wall Street, and there was a few little subgroups of that in other areas that did try to formulate a little plan and get people together. And it's good to see people recognize these things and try to do something about it, but the sad reality is how many thousands and thousands and thousands of cars with people in them, of course, drove by and just gave them a little honk. Yeah, I'm with you. Little thumbs up. Yeah, appreciate that. You guys are right, man. Little honk, honk if you agree with the 99%. Yeah, honk. On my way to work, man. Gotta pay them bills. Gotta pay that debt, man. Honk, honk. Yeah. Gotta pay for those bankers. So the whole reason why income tax was created was to pay for the debt that we have as a country. We get lent money, our own money, from people buying our bonds at interest, so we have to pay back the interest. And our country was running fine at the time. We paid our bills. We didn't really have a deficit for the most part. Everything was good. But then they wanted to change the system, the bankers did, and the only way to finance their system is through debt. That's their system, is debt. Everybody's a debt slave. So in order to finance this new debt system, which is where we're borrowing all this money into existence, fractional reserve lending, basically told by the Federal Reserve, which was then created right before this, right before the income tax law kicked in, Federal Reserve's created, private central bank, issues the money at interest, has to get paid back that interest, or not it, but the people who lent us the money, so to speak, have to get paid back at interest. So where are they going to get this extra money from all of a sudden? Income tax. That's where it's been going this whole time. But as you can see, 2008, we had $9 trillion in debt. A mere 4 and 5 years later, it has practically doubled, which is unbelievable, by the way. So how does that get repaid? First of all, if it had to double that fast, it appears to me that even if they doubled the income tax, it wouldn't have been enough. Because it was already climbing before that. And it's still climbing now, And if you simply double what's being taken from income tax, it's not enough. And they know they can't do that because they'll kill off every job in America, period. If that happens. But they want to extend this as long as they can, so how can we squeak a little bit more money out? How can we do that? Oh, healthcare bill. We're going to create this massive legislation. Has almost nothing to do with healthcare, and more to do with a little bit of revenue generation and control, so that when the crap hits the fan later on, we've got even more control over people. Can't have them rioting like those people over in Argentina right now. Can't have that happening, or the people in Greece or Spain or France even. Can't have that. So let's just sneak it in, this bill called Obamacare. Now we found out through the Supreme Court it is a tax if you don't pay, which isn't really right, because you can't have certain people being taxed in a country and then other people not being taxed simply because they bought a product. Insurance is a product you are buying. It's technically a service, but it's the same difference. So that was their way of trying to squeak out a little more revenue from the sheeple. We know so many people aren't even going to know what we're doing. They're not going to even know that this got taken out of their taxes potentially at tax time. Who knows? And by then it'll be too late, because a lot of us congressmen will have already been stepping down by then. And by the way, you remember my video the other day, record number of congressmen and senators stepping down, huge number before the elections. Now, once again, why would they do that when they know the way they get their pockets fat for retirement is through campaign contributions, and they collect those things until they retire, and then when they retire, they get all the campaign contributions they've ever received. You know, what's left of them. So they use a little bit of that money to finance their campaign, put the commercials out, and Senator Bozo and Mrs. Congressman nonsense. I was there for the American people. I believe in the education system. They repeat the same crap. This is how stupid we are as a people. They repeat the same crap no matter what the economic conditions are, no matter how good things are, no matter how bad things are, no matter how long the same crap has been going on over and over and over and over for decades and decades and decades. Longer than a lot of us have been alive, the same stuff is repeating as far as what these congressmen do, these politicians, in order to get elected. They lie and lie and lie. They all just lie. And we still vote for them. Why? Because that's my team. I'm on the blue team, you're on the red team, man. Blue team's gonna win this time. Oh, we almost got him, 51-49. Dang, we'll try next time. Come on, blue team, let's get him next time. Oh, we won this time. We beat you guys 51-49. Or maybe 52-48, just to make it a little bit different. How do you have a country, anything that's voting, split right down the middle, when there are hundreds of millions of people in the country? That's not possible. And yet we see those numbers, and we're so used to those numbers, we accept them. I said this before, the Egyptian protest 2010, or actually it was early 2011. They first time they ever had a quote-unquote democracy in which they all voted, and something new's coming. Egypt's turning into a democracy. We're getting rid of our old president, Hosni Mubarak, or whatever his name was. And the results came out in favor of the Muslim Brotherhood, who is exactly who Lindsey Williams said would win because of his elitist friend telling him that's the plan. The Muslim Brotherhood's being given all of these territories that are being overthrown in Egypt. So is it any surprise that a vote happens in the Muslim Brotherhood, who was an outsider, by the way, to the Egyptian people? An outsider came in and won. 51 to 49%. Maybe our own guy from Egypt will get it next time. We'll just wait. Let this guy come in, change all the laws, which he was in the process of, hire up all, or appoint all his people, which he did, throw out other people. And then what happens a couple, 3 years later, 3 years later? Another revolution starts. The people didn't buy it and said, nope, we're going to throw this guy out. We don't think he was legitimate. And they threw him out. Now, how's that? That's the only way. That is the only way to take back your country, because you can't vote your way out because they're rigged. You can't vote them in because no matter what, there's always going to be a person there. Usually it's both people who you see, the red and the blue guy, two donkeys, who are the club's pals, the club, the elite. It's their guys. You're picking, tails you lose, heads we win. You vote for the Democrat, we win. You vote for the Republican, we win. They're both our guys. Look no further than John McCain. John McCain and Obama, boy, they seem to hate each other. First go round, Obama wins 2008. Oh my gosh. If McCain had won, we wouldn't be doing any of these things. Oh, wait a minute. Have you seen the legislation that McCain has been pushing forward as a senator? Have you seen the things he's voted in agreement with Obama? I thought these guys were arch nemesis or nemesis. Nope. Revolution's the only thing that history shows us does anything meaningful. As crazy as that sounds, who wants to see that? Who wants to even be a part of that? Because usually it doesn't end well. You know, or during it doesn't end very good. You know, so nobody wants to see that. You want to see, hey, I live in a democracy, a real democracy. It's just happens to be the greatest, allegedly, in America, in the world, called America. If we have a democracy, it should function like a democracy. You shouldn't have these secret groups spying on everybody, National Security Agency, CIA, Homeland Security, and then finding out that all this is in place for some reasons you don't understand yet, but for reasons that they understand, knowing that when the people find out that they can't trust the voting system in America anymore, it's game over, and that is coming in the near future. We'll need to handle that dissidence, so we have to have all these organizations here on standby for when that day comes. That's another sign to tell you they already know it's coming. Look at all other countries in the past 200, 300 years that have built up some kind of internal police force to deal with those things because they were doing the same crap. And they all fell anyways. It was a waste of money anyways. So why in the hell are they doing it again today? Because we're stupid humans who repeat everything. And we think we're, well, not this time, we're smarter than the last guys. This time, let me look at the technology. We're just, overall, we're smarter than the last guys. We'll be able to pull it off this time. We'll pull the rug over the sheeple's head this time and it'll work this time. And it's not working because people are waking up. And they're just making it seem like that's not the case because you don't see it on the news. No one's talking about stuff. They hide it. They keep stuff away. But we got this thing called the internet now. And we transfer information between ourselves. We don't need the news. We don't need the government to tell us things. We go look it up ourselves. We talk to other people online to find out things ourselves. That was something they never expected. So it will be interesting to see how all this turns out. Take care.